Welcome, friends. Welcome to Children's Liturgy of the Word. This is the 6th Sunday of the season of Easter. We're getting very close to the celebration of Pentecost. I kind of got ahead this week because I was playing around with the altar I have in my home, and I put some colors of Pentecost there, red and yellow and orange. And that's just to give you a reminder that that special occasion is almost here. And on that day, it's a lot of fun to dress up in red or yellow or orange. And usually if we're at the church, we decorate the church in those colors. But you might like to decorate your home or your body to help celebrate the day that the Holy Spirit comes to Jesus' disciples. But for today, we are still in the season of Easter, and I thought we would start with a prayer. And this prayer says, "Into your spacious heart and loving hands, dear God, I place my fears, my what-ifs, my spinning world and mind. Comfort me with the truth. No fear is too big for the Great One who is always with me. I am never alone. Calming God, bring courage. Tender Spirit, breathe peace. Gentle Jesus, be close. Amen." I like that prayer because the story that comes with our children's bulletin this week is about being close. Being as close as maybe our own breath. Being so close to God. The story is again based on one of the Psalms. Remember, we had the Psalm last week, and we talked about that being one of the books in the library that makes the Bible. This psalm is only one verse, one line that we hear this week. And it says, this is Psalm 61, verse 19, "But truly God has listened. God has given heed to the words of my prayer." God has listened and paid attention to the words of my prayer, the deep feelings in my heart that I have shared with God. So just like we see every week when we print things off, they come in black and white usually, and then it's our choice to color them. And our bulletin says, "In Christ we live and move and have our being." And on the back it says, "If you love me, you will keep my commandments." You can see I'm thinking ahead to Pentecost, aren't I? With those colors. How to keep God's commandments and Jesus' commandments to love one another and to love God. And here's a picture about being so close and having God listen to us. But truly God has listened. This reminded me of a picture that is usually in my office at the church, and we brought it home this week to show you. This is just a poster that I put in a frame, but it's a famous painting by a wonderful artist named Mary Cassatt. And when I saw that picture, it made me think about what it must be like to be so close to God that maybe the rhythm of our breath and God's breath might even flow together, and our hearts might start to beat together. And you know, friends, I have a lot of fun coloring these pages that we get every week. But just like we would say if we were at church and we were having children's liturgy, you never have to color in someone else's picture. It is always your choice, if you have your own idea, to turn a page over and color your very own picture. Because your own imagination might make you think of something very different. So I don't want you to think that just because this is available, that's the only way you have to think about these stories. Maybe you want to color it on the front and turn it over and make a different picture on the back. That's great too. So this is a really big week for St. Michael's. We have something special happening this week. We have a special visitor. Bishop Michael Hanley, the Bishop of Oregon, is coming to visit us at St. Michael's. And in some ways, it's really sad that we aren't there in person to say hello and good morning to Bishop Michael. But I know he's happy to come and be with us, and he'll be there with Chris and James and Hannah, and he will be part of our worship service. On our website, you can look for something that shows you a picture of Bishop Michael. There he is. And here he is again with his vestments on. These are two other people who are bishops. This is Bishop Catherine Jeffert Shorey, and she was the Bishop of Nevada, and then she became the presiding bishop. And this is our current presiding bishop, Bishop Michael Curry. So the Bishop of Oregon, just like Bishop Michael is right now, that bishop helps care for all the people in Oregon who he's responsible for checking in with. That's the priests and the deacons and all the people who go to church. And then, if you become the presiding bishop, you help take care of all the bishops in the country and all the people. It's a really big, important job. This little booklet is on the website so that you can have fun looking at that and maybe learning about what it means to be a bishop. The bishop is a priest especially ordained to lead the diocese. And we know a diocese is a group of churches. The bishop's role is to teach and care for the spiritual needs of the clergy and people of the diocese. Bishops visit each church regularly. They confirm members and ordain priests and deacons. And a bishop can be a woman or a man. And when you print this off, it will be completely plain. I just colored that in just for fun. And as we see, when the bishop has their very fancy vestments on, they carry a staff or a crook, a shepherd's crook, reminds us of the Good Shepherd. They wear a special cross. They wear a hat called a mitre, and the shape of that hat reminds us of the flames of Pentecost that danced on the heads of the disciples. So there's lots more information here that you can look at, and you can learn some words about special parts of the bishop's formal clothes. And you can use your imagination maybe to design your own mitre. So it's fun to see the different ways that people express the beauty of the world, and sometimes that comes out in the way things are designed for people to wear. And the bishop's vestments are often very special and very beautiful. So we are glad Bishop Hanley has come to St. Michael's, the 6th Sunday of Easter. There is another bishop who I know about, who I really like and really respect. And he's retired now from working the way he did when he was the Bishop of South Africa. But this is Bishop Desmond Tutu. Bishop Tutu is a friend to so many people. He was a very good friend to a bishop who used to be the Bishop of Eastern Oregon, Bishop Rusty Kimsey. And when Bishop Rusty was alive, he and Bishop Tutu were very good friends. Bishop Tutu has written some books for children, and we use these books sometimes at church. Here is a book, a storybook Bible by Archbishop Desmond Tutu. And here's a book I'm going to read to you in a minute called God's Dream. But before I read this, I want to go back to thinking about this psalm, Psalm 61, that says, "But truly God has listened. God has given heed to the words of my prayer." And when we think about this, we're thinking about that when you're with someone and you're really paying attention to them and what they say, maybe what they don't say, pay attention to how they're feeling. And you care about them. You care about their feelings, whether they have big feelings or little feelings, sad feelings or happy feelings. So sometimes we're the person who does the caring. Sometimes we might be the person who needs to be cared for. So here are a couple questions just to think about. Who is someone in your life who truly listens to you? How do you know when someone is really listening and paying attention to you? How do you show other people you are listening to them? If we just take a minute and look at our virtues guide, here are a few things that are written about caring, the virtue of caring. Caring is giving love and attention to people and things that matter to you. When you care for someone, you pay a lot of attention to them and take an interest in what is happening to them. Caring shows that something or someone really matters to you. Caring comes from within. It is a sign of love. Caring about yourself means that you treat yourself with the respect and concern that you deserve as a child of God. There's much more in this book, if you ever want to read it, about caring. So here is the book, The Story of God's Dream, that Bishop Tutu wrote with Douglas Carlton Abrams. And the illustrations are by, I hope I say this right, Nguyen Pham. And I apologize to the illustrator if I did not say their name correctly. This is a beautiful book, isn't it? Dear child of God, what do you dream about in your loveliest of dreams? Do you dream about flying high or rainbows reaching across the sky? Do you dream about being free to do what your heart desires, or about being treated like a full person, no matter how young you might be? Do you know what God dreams about? If you close your eyes and look with your heart, I am sure, dear child, that you will find out. God dreams about people sharing. God dreams about people caring. God dreams that we reach out and hold one another's hands and play one another's games and laugh with one another's hearts. But God does not force us to be friends or to love one another. Dear child of God, it does happen that we get angry and hurt one another. Soon we start to feel sad and so very alone. Sometimes we cry and God cries with us. But when we say we're sorry and forgive one another, we wipe away our tears and God's tears too. Each of us carries a piece of God's heart within us. And when we love one another, the pieces of God's heart are made whole. God dreams that every one of us will see that we are all brothers and sisters. Yes, even you and me, even if we have different mommies and daddies or live in different faraway lands. Even if we speak different languages or have different ways of talking to God. Even if we have different eyes or different skin. Even if you are taller and I am smaller, even if your nose is little and mine is large. Dear child of God, do you know how to make God's dream come true? It is really quite easy. As easy as sharing, loving, caring. As easy as holding, playing, laughing. As easy as knowing we are all family because we are all God's children. Will you help God's dream come true? Let me tell you a secret. God smiles like a rainbow when you do. And that's the end of the story. That is a beautiful dream. I once heard Bishop Tutu talk about an experience that he had. It was a really important thing that he was a part of. In his country, some people had some very, very old hurts. And some people had been treated very badly. And the people needed to start to heal and to be able to tell their stories and to be able to have someone say they were sorry. And I remember Bishop Tutu talking about being asked to be the person who helped make all those meetings happen. And he thought, oh, I don't think I can do that because I don't think I'm strong enough to do that. If I hear all of those sad stories, I might cry, and I'm not sure that I'm the right person. But he did finally say yes to President Mandela's request, and he was the head of the Truth and Reconciliation Committee. And he learned that even if he did get sad, it was okay. Because sometimes when we sit with someone and they tell us something that's really special or really important, it might be sad, and we might even feel sad, but we can also know that God is right there with us. And we can be together, and we can listen. We can listen with our ears, and we can listen with our hearts. Sometimes it might be hard to get ready to do something like that, especially if you're in a place where it's noisy or it's busy or you have a lot of other things on your mind. And I heard about something this week. It's a little game that's called the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 game. And it might help us if we ever just need to find a way to bring all of our thoughts into one place so that we can pay attention. Maybe just something we need to think about, or that we want to pay attention to someone else. So this is the game, and it's kind of just for fun game. Can you think of 5 things that you can see where you are? I put this funny picture here because this baby obviously can't see if they have their hand over their eyes. The first thing we need to do to see is we need to open our eyes, right? So if I was going to play this game right now, I might say, I can see Tim, who's holding the camera. I can see the table. I can see my picture. I can see the game cards. And let's see, if I look out the window, I can see the trees. Okay, we did 5 things. How about 4 things I can touch? 4 things I can touch right now where I am. I can touch the table. I can touch my hands. I can touch my nose. I can touch this cloth on my altar. Is that 4? I think that's 4. Okay. 3 things I can hear. Oh, you know, my house is very quiet right now because my puppy dog went to play with another puppy dog while we made this video. Usually I can hear the puppy dog. This picture is fun because I think this family is having a dance party, and I bet they're hearing some good music. So if I'm not hearing the puppy dog, I might hear the washing machine down in my basement. I might hear a clock ticking. I might hear my tummy growling if it's time for dinner. Oh, that brings us to 2 things I can smell. Doesn't that look delicious? 2 things I can smell. I'm not sure what I can smell right now. Let me think about that. I can smell my perfume. And I think I can smell, if I opened the front door, you know what, I think I could smell the rain because it rained just a little while ago. Last one. 1 thing I can taste. And I don't have any food with me right now, but that does look like a good thing to taste. An apple. Maybe you have something you like to taste. So sometimes doing important work is, sometimes to do our important work, we have to take a little bit of time to get ready. This fun game is one of those things that we can do sometimes just in case maybe we feel like I've got to do some important thinking, or I need to spend some time with someone and have an important or a hard conversation. Maybe I need something to help me get centered. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Even if you just say one of those things for each of those cards. That might help center you into the here and now. So much of ministry, whether or not it's being a Sunday school teacher or being a world famous bishop or a bishop famous in Oregon, being a mom, a dad, a teacher, a nurse, a doctor. So many important jobs and ministries in the world. And a lot of times the most important part is taking that time to listen to the other people. There's our other picture here. But truly God has listened. So I do hope that there's someone that you know who really listens to you. We always say when we say our prayers, we can say our prayers out loud if we have words. But if we only have feelings or we don't quite want to say them out loud, we can say our prayers to God silently. That doesn't mean that our prayers aren't heard. Prayers can be said aloud, they can be said with our family, and they can be said all by ourselves. You might have this prayer book at your house, and there's a prayer in it called Prayers to Calm Our Bodies. So here's a way to say a prayer that's using our bodies and our words. God, your love is bigger than I can imagine. So how big is God's love? You might say, God, your love is bigger than I can imagine. God, your love wraps around the world. God, your love is here in my heart. God, you are here. In you, I find peace. God is as close as our next breath. I hope that you and your whole family are well. And even as times change with the COVID pandemic and we might start to do some new things, I do hope you are all staying healthy, and when you have to, that you are staying home with lots of love for each other. And I hope that you're staying hopeful, holding on to that piece of hope, knowing that God's love is with us, even when we're home for a very long time. So friends, I'll say goodbye for now. I wish you a wonderful week. Take good care, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye-bye.